Okay, so now we're in the next section and the final section of this chapter where we're going to talk about HTTP in the browser. I've already introduced you to some of the concepts here. So if you're new to this channel and you would like to follow along with the curriculum, the link is in the description. Okay, let's get into it. HTTP in the browser. While we have covered all of the HTTP concepts, you need to know at this point it's worth spending some time explaining how web browsers submit requests and receive responses. This is something you definitely want to spend some time with. It seems like we're saying that in every chapter, but it's true. Everything that we're giving you, all the information that we're giving you, you have to spend some time with it. You want to understand how this works. Viewing request and response using developer tools. This section requires you to use Firefox Developer Tools. If you need a refresher or just a reference, visit MDN. Open a web browser and visit some page, say, or our example from the HTML Me Something assignment. After the page loads, open up your browser's Developer Tools and select the Network tab. You'll see something like this, and we've already gone through. I showed you this. It's empty. Now we're going to show you how to get the information to populate. The network pane displays all HTTP requests and responses involved in loading a page. However, it only tracks and displays such data if it is open during the request. That's why I had to refresh it, because once I open up the network tab, it's only going to work once you refresh. It's only going to populate once it's already open. It has to be open in order for it to track the data. To see some data in this tab, refresh the page. Now you'll see something like this. Like I said, we've gone over this information right here, and everything is different. You notice it has the status code in color. Mine, I think, looked a little bit different. It looked a little plain, but that's because I'm using Chrome. And so this is what we were talking about in the network tab. It's clicked right here, and this is the status, the method, and then the domain. And then it has all the other information, files and index, normalized CSS styles, and family JPEG. So over here, gives you all of this. You can actually break it down if you like. Now, each entry within the pane represents a single HTTP request. A summary of the request is shown in a table format, including the resource request, server name, response code, and more. Clicking on one of the entries should show more detailed information about the request. So what I did, I went through, when I said that 3 or 4, I clicked on it, and then it opened up where you see the headers, the cookies, the params, the response cache, time, and the stack trace. Now on the right, we see additional request and response details, including response headers. And scrolling down request headers, we can even view the response body by clicking on the response tab. Okay, so you have the tab right there. If you click on it, you'll see what the response is. Now, navigating to a different page with the network pane open, find the response code and content type. Headers for the first request shown in the pane. So when you on the request, you're going to see the content type. So you need to play around with this. Open it up with your developer tools and explore it. Now, as you can see from the using the network pane, loading a single page usually involves several HTTP requests. Each resource within the page is loaded in a separate request. Let's examine the flow of loading a page. We'll consider the case of an HTML page with CSS, JavaScript, and images loaded via a GET request. Browser requests a page from the server. Browser receives the HTML page and parses it. For each image, external CSS file, and external JavaScript file, the browser issues a new HTTP request for the given file. As additional responses are received, the browser processes the data and media and updates the page. This process explains why you will sometimes load a page only to see an image on the page loaded. A few seconds later, In the such situation, the HTTP request fetching the image takes substantially more time, making it noticeable. All right, so check your understanding. Now, what I'm going to do, let me go over here to this W3 Schools. I'm going to open up the inspect tool over here. I'm going to go to the network. Now I need to refresh it. All right, so right now I'm in the fetch HR. I need to be in all. And so it went through and it fetched all this information that we were talking about. You got a lot of 304s, and we understand what the 304s. We're dealing with a redirect, user menu. We have a favicon, which is cached. So it's cached on the disk for us because I opened it up already. And so what we were talking about, if I go here and I click on this, read more about W3, it pops up, it goes to the about. All of these are 200s. Let me see what we got here. Anything, we have an avatar. Let's click on the avatar. We have the header request. So this is a request. How do we know it's a request? Because of the status. I'm over here on my, it's not giving me the get and all that stuff. I just know the status. This is a get. So the avatar, I am going to click on that. And there it is right there. It tells me it's a get right here. And there we go. It gives us information about, there's our content type. And then we got the preview. We can preview everything here. It's just giving me whatever this, wherever this image is. Response, because it's an SVG, because I clicked on it. No, I didn't. I clicked on this link. And so it talks about who we are. So if I go over here to Seth Dobbs, let's see who he is. All right. We clicked on him. We get all 200s for Seth. We got image right here. There's no, let me look at the header. It's a 200, it's a get. So like I said, you want to go around and play around with this information so you can get an understanding of how this works, because this is important to know. Alrighty, so check your understanding, and that's the end of this section and the end of this chapter. Okay, so remember, the more you do, the more you improve. See you in the next chapter.